that say that I would like to do this. So this happens. But it depends on the director who wants to do a film. Now, I think we have finished all things. Sometimes I will come and we'll have a detail of the making of the film.
Oh, yes.
It's very thrilling kind of experience. Thank you very much, because I'll be very happy
thank you, sir.
Listen to Dr. Thorat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Very insightful. Yeah, correct, no? और सर को हम बाद में स्पेशली एक विल हैव वन स्पेशल सेशन जहाँ पे हम इंटरेक्टिव उनसे बात करेंगे. ओके, तो वो आपको पता चलेगा. तो ओनली विल टॉक अबाउट मूवी ऑफ बाबा साहेब एंड हिज लाइफ एंड रमाई. रमाई अभी यूएसए में है एक्चुअली. काफ़ी दिनों से मैं पीछे हूँ. सर को भी बताया मैंने कहा सर रमाई किधर है, मामूटी तो आ नहीं सकते वहाँ से, केरला से. तो रमाई तो एटलीस्ट मुंबई में रहती है. तो फिर मैं somehow I got her contact number and then contacted her. त्यांनी मेसेज पाठवला, सर सध्या मी USA आहे आणि मी 3rd वीकला येणार, कसं काय होईल. आय सेड तुम्ही 3rd वीकला येत आहेत ना, तर आपला प्रोग्राम 22ला आहे, काही इश्यूज नाही आहे, यू आर हिअर इन मुंबई. परत त्यांना कॉल केला नंतर सर. सो शी सेड सॉरी सर, काहीतरी वेगळंच अजून USAला काम निघालं, बट नेक्स्ट टाइम शी वुड बी, रमाई विल बी विथ अस देन. तो खूप इच्छा होती सोनाली कुलकर्णीजींना बोलवायची इथे, पण त्या नाही येऊ शकल्या कारण की त्या USA मध्ये, वो USA में है अभी. तो नेक्स्ट टाइम उनको ज़रूर हम बुलाने वाले हैं, ठीक है. और उनसे जब स्पेशली सर जो आपने नागपुर का जो एक्सपीरियंस शेयर किया ना, दैट इज़ व्हाट वी वांटेड एक्चुअली. वहाँ पे दीक्षाभूमि में जो शूटिंग हुआ और वो लोगों का एक्सप्रेशन क्या था, जैसे आपने गोडबोले जी का जो एग्जाम साइट किया, इट्स रियली वंडरफुल. सो हैट्स अप टू बाबा साहेब. एक स्पेशल मेंशन के तौर पे हम बताना चाहते हैं कि इस बार यूनाइटेड नेशंस में भी बाबा साहब का 132nd बर्थ एनिवर्सरी सेलिब्रेशन हुआ, जिसमें काफ़ी वर्ल्ड वाइड जो लोग हैं जो इसमें है सोशल फील्ड में, उन्होंने इसमें पार्टिसिपेट किया. और स्पेशली मिस्टर दिलीप मस्के जी है, आपने नाम सुना होगा, तो उनका भी इसमें बहुत बड़ा रोल है टू ऑर्गेनाइज दैट फंक्शन इन द यूनाइटेड नेशंस न्यूयॉर्क में. एक बार जोरदार ताली बजाइए सबके लिए कि यूनाइटेड नेशंस में जब बाबा साहब का बर्थ एनिवर्सरी सेलिब्रेट होता है. सो नाउ थँक्स अगेन सर, थँक यू व्हेरी मच सर. खूप सुंदर आपण बाबासाहेबांबद्दल आठवणी सांगितल्यात आणि अवर ऑडियन्स इन्क्लुडिंग माय सेल्फ, everybody is totally lost. Yeah, in the memories of that days, those days actually. गोडबोले साहेबांशी मी पण स्वतः भेटलेलो आहे, बरंचसं आहे गोष्टी. बट एनिवे नाऊ आता आपले जे कीनोट स्पीकर आहेत, ज्यांचं मुख्य जे स्पीच आहे डॉक्टर सुखदेव थोरात साहेब आहेत. सर के बारे में मैंने ब्रीफ में आपको बताया था, उनका टोटल जो बायोडाटा है वो 20 पेज का है. और अगर उसको ब्रीफ करते हैं
सर, एक मिनिट, अभी नाव डॉक्टर थोरात इज शेअरिंग विथ मी. दीक्षेच्या वेळेला जे लोक आले होते 5 लाख लोक, त्याच्यामध्ये अमरावतीहून थोरात साहेबांचे वडील पण टॅग करून.
क्या बात है. अच्छा साहेब तुम्ही होते, हे बापूजी साहेब पण होते, बरेचसे लोक असतील आपल्यापैकी. तो इट वॉज रियली अ लाईफ टाईम अपॉर्च्युनिटी. आणि तुम्ही खूप फॉर्च्युनेट आहात की त्यावेळेस बाबासाहेबांना लांबून तो तरी ॲटलिस्ट बघितलं. अभी सर ने बताया ना कि मामूदी को देख के लोग पैर छू रहे थे, इट्स लाईक दॅट. तो
ॲक्च्युली मी शूट केलं त्यावेळेला दीक्षेच्या वेळेला असणारे बरेच लोक 70-80तले होते. ऑल ओल्ड पीपल, दे ऑल केम. आय सेड तुम्ही कशाला येत आहे, नाही आम्हाला पुन्हा एकदा दीक्षा घ्यायची. म्हणजे अरे पण हे बाबा, नाही ते बाबासाहेबांसारखेच आहेत, त्यांच्याकडून आम्हाला घ्यायचे. अँड आय टेल यू द वे दे, द डिसिप्लिन विच दे फॉलोड. अंबाझरीला केलं होतं, अंबाझरीला केलं होतं शूटिंग. तर ॲक्च्युली कडकडीत ऊन होतं आणि 6-6 महिन्याची लेकरं अशी लहान घेऊन आलेले लोक. आणि आमचे दोघजण सगळे ऑर्डर करायचे, आता वरती हेलिकॉप्टरचं शॉट चालू आहे, वरती कोणी बघू नका, तुम्ही बोलला तर शॉट वाया जाईल वगैरे वगैरे. एव्हरीबडी 2 लाख पीपल दे कॉपरेट. आणि सगळ्यात तुम्हाला माहीत असेल पोलीस बंदोबस्त ठेवता नाही आला. Because during the Diksha, there were no police inside. There was Samata सैनिक दलाचे लोक होते. सो वी केप समता दल. 2 लाखांचा क्राऊड त्या शूटिंगसाठी पोलिसांच्या शिवाय झालेला आहे.
क्या बात.
आणि पोलीस होते पण जवळजवळ 1 किलोमीटर लांब, कारण हेलिकॉप्टरमध्ये दिसतील ते खाकी वेशगत. म्हणून दॅट्स वाय द पोलीस वेर नॉट इन द होल थिंग. दॅट्स द होल थिंग. ओके नाही, आपण सरांना ऐकूयात.
येस, थँक्यू सर, थँक्स. सरांबद्दल प्रोफेसर पद्मश्री सुखदेव थोरात सरांबद्दल थोडंसं ब्रीफ करतो आहे. प्रोफेसर एमेरिटस जवाहरलाल युनिव्हर्सिटी, मी सांगितलं आहे. KR नारायणन, चेअर ऑनररी फॉर ह्युमन राईट्स अँड सोशल जस्टिस, महात्मा गांधी युनिव्हर्सिटी, कोट्टायम, केरला. Visiting Professor Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, Chair, University of Calicut, Malappuram, Kerala. Chairman of Indian Institute of Dalit Studies, New Delhi. Chairman, Institute of Social and Economic Change, Bangalore. Previously, he was Chairman of Indian Council of Social Science Research, New Delhi, from 11 to 17, then Chairman of University Grant Commission 6 to 11, 2006 to 2011, then Professor in JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University, one of the prestigious universities in India, 1980 to 2014, and Distinguished Professor, Savitribai Phule University, Pune, from 2015 to 2017. ताली ताली. सर ने उनकी जो डिग्रीज है वो है PhD, MPhil, जवाहरलाल नेहरू यूनिवर्सिटी, न्यू दिल्ली. ही इज़ डॉक्टर ऑफ लिटरेचर आल्सो, ऑनररी डिग्री है. और 12 यूनिवर्सिटीज़, कैन यू इमेजिन, 12 यूनिवर्सिटीज़ फ्रॉम इंडिया and one university from outside India have awarded honorary Doctor of Literature, DSc, then DSc Doctor of Education, and LLD also, जो बाबासाहेबांना कोलंबियाने दिलेले LLD. या दिवसभर लागेल. जस्ट ब्रीफच सांगत आहे, जास्त नाही सांगत आहे, ओनली ब्रीफ. The University Technology Mauritius conferred Doctor of Literature at a special convocation on August 2009. सरांचा रिसर्च वर्क जे आहे तो एरिया तो सांगणं गरजेचं आहे. ॲग्रिकल्चर डेव्हलपमेंट, रुरल पॉवर्टी, इन्स्टिट्यूशन अँड इकॉनॉमिक ग्रोथ, प्रॉब्लेम्स ऑफ मार्जिनलाइज ग्रुप्स, इकॉनॉमिक्स ऑफ कास्ट सिस्टम, कास्ट डिस्क्रिमिनेशन अँड पॉवर्टी, ह्युमन डेव्हलपमेंट, ह्युमन राईट्स इश्यूज, थॉट्स ऑफ आंबेडकर, स्लम्स, एज्युकेशन पॉलिसीज फॉर मार्जिनलाइज ग्रुप्स. आणि सरांचा जो टोटल जो 40 इयर्सचा टीचिंगचा एक्सपिरियन्स आहे, त्यांनी बरेचसे बुक्स पब्लिश केलेले आहे. बाबासाहेबांचं राष्ट्राकरिता काय योगदान आहे, बाबासाहेबांचं नेशन बिल्डर, राष्ट्र निर्माते ज्यांना आपण म्हणतो बाबासाहेबांना, तर सरांनी आता सांगितलं, पटेल सरांनी आता सांगितलं, इट शुड नॉट बी कन्फाईन्ड टू एनी पर्टिक्युलर टॅग, दलित दिस अँड दॅट. नो, ही वॉज अ ट्रू राष्ट्र निर्माता, नेशन बिल्डर. आणि सरांनी जे पुस्तक लिहिलेलं आहे ते माझ्याकडे कॉपी आहे. आय स्पेशली मेन्शन फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू टू गो थ्रू दॅट बुक. इट्स व्हेरी व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट बुक. बाबासाहेबांची वॉटर पॉलिसी आणि पॉवर सेक्टरमध्ये काय कॉन्ट्रीब्युशन आहे ते ॲमेझॉनवर अवेलेबल आहे. यू गो टू ॲमेझॉन, डॉक्टर सुखदेव थोरात टाकायचं, तिथे सगळे बुक्स होते सरांची, त्यातलं बुक्स वाचा. इमन्स कॉन्ट्रीब्युशन बाबासाहेबांची या देशाकरता आहे. तर सरांनी याच्यामध्ये फंडामेंटल जे कार्य आहे, महत्त्वाचं सांगणं हे आहे की याच्यामध्ये फंडामेंटल जो कार्य किया है प्रोफेसर सुखदेव थोरात साहब ने किया हुआ है. या तो देर आर सो मैनी बुक्स एंड अवार्ड्स. अभी बड़ा मुश्किल है बताना, मुझे सर ने बोला मुश्किल हो जाएगा. पद्मश्री तो आपको बताया, डॉक्टर अंबेडकर अवार्ड फॉर सोशल अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड अपलिफ्टमेंट ऑफ वीकर सेक्शन by Dr. Ambedkar Foundation, Ministry of Social Justice. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar Ratna Award 2012-13, Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi. Mother Teresa International Award for Outstanding Achievement and Contribution towards the people of our nation by All India Minority and Weaker Section Council of Kolkata. Dr. Ambedkar Chetana Award by मानवतावादी रचना मंच जालंधर Punjab in March 2011 in recognition of his promoting the cause of Dalits. Award by Maharashtra Sahitya Academy Pune. Anna Bhau Sathe Award for Marathi Culture and Language Sansthan Mumbai Government of Maharashtra for book Vanchitanche Vartaman, present situation of depressed group. And last, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Smriti Award, Marwadi Foundation Nagpur. India Matters selected as one of the 100 prominent Indian persons by India Matters. You must be knowing India Matters. So Saab was one of them. And Dalit eminence included in the list of 10 eminent Dalits who occupied the higher position for the first time under series of Dalit eminence. So, थकलो, मला दम लागला. तो सरांना मी बहुत ही सम्मान के साथ में, बड़े आदर के साथ में, मेरे पास शब्द शायद कम पड़ रहे होंगे कि इतने बड़े जो इंटरनेशनल लुमिनरीज हमारे साथ में यहाँ विराजमान है, हमारा सौभाग्य है. और इसमें मैंने एक छोटा सा रोल प्ले किया, इसका मुझे अतीव आनंद है, बहुत सुख है, बहुत सेटिस्फैक्शन है. सो आई इन्वाइट प्रोफेसर सुखदेव थोरात सर टू फॉर दिस डिस्कोर्स टुडे. So we are everybody enjoying, sir. Time has, we have no time limit. You go as per your this thing.
Dr. Jabbar Patel, Sri Vijay Raj, ED HRO Mumbai. Somkor, ladies and gentlemen. Now, plus, tell me, because I was told that I should speak in Hindi, and some translation into English, but I saw Jabbar Patel speaking throughout in English, and you people seems to have been very comfortable and responding to his all responses. So what do you advise, English or Hindi? Hindi? Okay, I'll speak in English, simple English, and then some of the word in Hindi. Well, let me say that, you know, we have been made so emotional by Jabbar Patel. So emotional that I think it is difficult for you to come from emotional stuff to a pure academic stuff. So I do not know how you will switch over. But I think it was a wonderful speech and presentation by Dr. Jabbar Patel, where he traced the entire story of finding out the actor, appropriate actor. At some stage, I remember that when I met Dr. Tel Tumble, he told me that Jabbar Patel has also shown him the photograph and the pictures of Jabbar Patel, and he also liked it. He sort of approved it in a way. But finally, of course, it was his choice. I think that's the only picture which really brings out Dr. Babasaheb's social movement and life. Dr. Jabbar Patel spent about 1.5 hours discussing about the film My House way back in many years in JNU. And he told me this incidence of showing the film in Fort Auditorium, about 2,000 capacity auditorium, where Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Home Minister Advani and the Social Welfare Minister at that time, Menka Gandhi, were there, and the Atal Bihari Vajpayee had promised him that he will watch it for 10-15 minutes and take a tea and go away. But as soon as the memory appeared on the scene, there was a massive outcry from the people. Big shout. And then Atal Bihari Vajpayee said that, who are these people? Are they? He did not know the dimension of the film. So Jabbar Patel told me that Atal Bihari Vajpayee, after the interval, took a tea and he said, cancel the meeting, postpone the meeting, I'll see the entire film. So all of them, they saw it. Friend, Dr. Jabbar Patel, in one of his speech mentioned that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was not the leader of Dalit and deprived people alone. Indeed, he was. But he was not the leader of Dalit alone, but he worked for the country as a whole. And he contributed in nation building. And you people have rightly mentioned here, architect of modern India, one of the architect of modern India. I will therefore, what I will do is present before you in as simple word in English and in Hindi, Dr. Ambedkar's role in nation building. That if he was awarded the Bharat Ratna or he was selected by the people on India Today count, greatest Indian after Gandhi. Gandhiji was not in the picture in that competition. So I think Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar indeed deserved to be one of the greatest Indian, deserved to be Bharat Ratna, who contribute in rebuilding of India. It is this, some of this fact that I would like to present before you, because Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar is considered as a leader of the oppressed and depressed, maker of the constitution, and a couple of other spheres. But his multiple contribution in nation building is ignored or perhaps not known to the people. We don't study Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar that point of view. And I do remember that when I went to meet the President of India, the earlier President of India, to meet him. And he said, Prof Thorat, everybody recognized Dr. Ambedkar as a maker of Indian Constitution, leader of the Dalit. And you had said somewhere that he has played a multiple role in nation building. Why don't you write it down and bring it in the public domain, that his role in multiple sphere? And I tried to do it, and I publish it and send it to him, the copy. It is this research of on the multiple contribution of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar that I will, in another 40-45 minutes, make you aware his contribution and make you realize that it's very difficult to find a person like him who has contributed in nation building. There are many people during that period of time, but hardly one finds a person who has contributed in so many spheres of national importance. I am not talking of Dalit, of national importance. And a person can do this thing provided he is immensely committed to the national cause. He loves his country. And the account that I will present you will make you believe that how he was important. Dr. Ambedkar came back from London after his studies in Columbia University from 13 to 16, and then from 16 to 17, late 1917, he registered for DSc, MSc, and of course PhD Columbia University. When he came back here, he did not have any degree, as a matter of fact, except the MA Economics. I mean, there are a large number of books we say that Dr. Ambedkar got a PhD in 1916. Huge mistakes are made, including Shashi Tharoor. Dr. Ambedkar got PhD from Columbia University in 1927. Before that, he got DSc from London School of Economics and MSc around that time, 1923-24. So when he came here, he wrote a letter to the Sydenham College, the government of Bombay's presidency, for he had applied for a job in Sydenham College. There he has clearly mentioned that he completed the requirement for PhD at Columbia University and also registered for DSc in London School of Economics. The important point that you have to remember that when he came here and joined Sydenham College, his first political engagement was in 1990, and that was the memorandum that he submitted to the South Bureau Commission. the South Bureau Commission came to India from London to seek the opinion of the people to make changes in the British Constitution. You must understand that British India was ruled under the Act, what is called British Act. And sometime there was a provision that after every 10 years, the Britishers would send a commission to India, seek the opinion of the Indian for a modification in the British India Act, take those suggestions and go back and make modification. But after every 10 years. The South Bureau Commission came in 1919, that was after 10 years, and Dr. Ambedkar saw an opportunity to place the grievances, the demand of the depressed classes. At that time, the word used for depressed classes, not the scheduled caste. And so that is the first written statement of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar describing the problem of untouchables, their pathetic situation, and giving the solution for the first time. And he submitted the memorandum. And then, of course, again after 10 years, in 1929, Simon Commission came, again he submitted a memorandum. And then you had a series of roundtable conferences in London, which led to the 1935 India British Constitution, one of the largest constitution in which Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has played an important role. But that's not important. The point is that Dr. Babasaheb's engagement in political life began in 1990, then ended in 1956. One can say with the conversion to Buddhism on October 1956. Now, during this period of 35 years, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar really participated in several activities and contributed in different national events. Now, you must remember one thing, that 1920, the initial year, first year of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar in political activity, 1920 to 1950 is a period in Indian history which has built up what we are today as a nation. Because several things happens during this period, and ultimately we had India as a nation through the Constitution. Now 1920, 30, 40, 50, 30-year period, for 30-year period, many events took place, happened, which shaped the character of India as it exists today, as we have it today. And in each of these events, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has played a role. What are those events? First event is that we fought for independence. Congress was established somewhere around middle of the 19th century, and Congress fought for the independence. We eventually got the independence in 1947. We made a constitution in 1949 and accepted in 1950, but the process of constitution making began in 1920. That is the change in the British Act and the 35 British Constitution, and then ultimately the 1950. Now, the constitution making process was spread over almost 30-year period. Then we got a constitution, our own constitution in 1950. The problem of minorities was at the very high level, which led to violence and ultimately led to partition of India. So the question of minority was very important at that point of time. And it shaped the character of India, as a matter of fact, and it continues to shape today as far as the relation between minority and majority is concerned. Reorganization of the state took. We had more than 50 princely states, and we had 3 presidencies: Bombay Presidency, Madras Presidency, and Calcutta Presidency, Bengal Presidency. And when we got independent, we had a question how to form the state. So we had a state reorganization committee, and we have state now, which is a very important event that decide our character. We had the question of economic development on our agenda in this period. Although the first 5 plans started in 1950, but prior to that, during British period, there were several economic policies which decided the fate of, decided the economic development of India. The question of labor, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was a labor minister during 40 to 46. Question of women, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was a law minister and brought a Hindu code bill. So you can see that there are events that really resulted into what we have today, India as a nation. Now what is important is that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar not only contributed, I didn't mention that, other than these all events, most important events was the rise of and depressed class movement under the leadership of Babasaheb Ambedkar. And then it resulted into several things, political parties, convergence, Buddhism, social movement and all that. I have not mentioned that. I'm keeping that aside for the time being. But all those events which I mentioned one by one, which are very important for the nation building, in each of these events, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar contributed. When he was in power, he contributed in terms of policies. Whereas he was not in power, he contributed in terms of writings. And writing on the national issues which has remote connection with the problem of depressed classes. A person who is deeply involved in the problem of depressed classes, why should he write on the national issues which are remotely concerned with Dalit, which means he was a nationalist of a highest order, and he was concerned about the events, and he was concerned about how India's future will be shaped. Let me give very briefly, we don't have a time, let me give you briefly on each of these points, what is the contribution of Babasaheb Ambedkar. Independence. Now there are people who say that Babasaheb Ambedkar has not participated in independence as much as he should have been, but that is not true. If you look at the book, what Congress and Gandhi have done to Untouchable, there are last 2 chapters where he answered this question. But that apart, what is important is that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar supported independence openly. When he went to the first roundtable conference in 1930 in London, Gandhiji and Congress boycotted the first roundtable conference, but for Babasaheb it was an opportunity. He gave a memorandum in 1920, as I said, South Bureau Commission, and he gave another memorandum in 1930, 10 years after Simon Commission came, but then it was followed by a discussion in the London, that is called Roundtable Conference, and Babasaheb was invited. That was the greatest achievement, and so he went there. And when he spoke and very clearly mentioned, I think my paper will be circulated to you. I have given his quotation, what he said in the London in the first roundtable conference. The simple meaning of that speech of his was that the untouchable were in a particular situation before British came. And he said that the situation of untouchable has not changed much. What they were before British, they remain even after the British. And he gave the reason that the British do not have a courage to antagonize the high caste, and so that they did not take the issue of caste and untouchable. And he said that we can only progress and we can get something provided we have a independence. And he used the word Swaraj, that if we have a Swaraj. And it was a very spirited speech. And right in front of the king sitting there, right in front of the prime minister sitting there, asking for the independence and criticizing the Britishers, that they don't have a capacity to help the Dalit because of their internal limitation. In the evening, there were several princes who were participating in the first roundtable conference, including Sayajirao Gaikwad. And he was so proud and so emotional that the student to whom he has sent to the Columbia University is here to say this thing. So he organized a dinner in honor of Dr. Ambedkar in one of the hotels, and he invited all the princes and introduced Dr. Ambedkar, that I had given him a fellowship. He went to Columbia, did his PhD, and look at him. That he had promised that if he take education, he will work for the society. He's really indeed working for a society. And Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar took each opportunity. He wrote an application and sent the copies of the application to princes to help him financially to start the activities on behalf of the Baishkut Bharat Sabha. Now when he came back, and the incident has been very vividly presented by Jabbar Patel, that Gandhiji invited him. And so he went there. Apparently Gandhiji did not know that he's a Mahar and untouchable. He thought that he's a progressive Brahmin from Pune, socialist Brahmin and progressive Brahmin from Pune. That's why he didn't pay much attention in the beginning. Dr. Ambedkar became very restless. Jawahar Patel has shown this very nicely and intelligently. So Babasaheb Ambedkar said that, Gandhiji said that you allege me that Congress is not doing anything. And then Babasaheb gave his own answer that, which has been mentioned by Jabbar Patel, that Mahatmas have gone, Mahatmas have come, but untouchable has remained untouchable and all that. But Babasaheb used one word. He said, Mahatma ji, I don't have a homeland. And then Gandhiji said that, Dr. Ambedkar, I know. And Babasaheb also said that Congress alleged me to be against independence and against Congress and against country. Then Gandhiji said, no, that is wrong. You are a nationalist of sterling qualities. This is the sentence of Gandhiji. And Gandhiji said that I know what you said in the first roundtable conference. The report that I got from London, that you supported independence and spoke very, very seriously. It is after this that the Gandhiji asked, why does the gentleman say that he doesn't have a homeland? And then Mahadev Desai said that, Babuji, he is a Mahar, he is untouchable. That's why he said that he doesn't have a homeland. He is not a progressive Brahmin from Pune. The point is that the only difference, so the point that I am making, that Dr. Ambedkar was wholeheartedly for the independence of India. The only difference with the Congress was that he wanted undertaking from the Congress and the British that you will go, but your colonialism will go, your exploitation of India will go, but our exploitation as a untouchable by the Hindus will continue. So we are asking independence for rights, freedom in our own country, equality, lack of without any exploitation. But precisely that is what will not go, because Hindu will continue to exploit us because of the implementation of the caste system. So Dr. Ambedkar said that I also want independence, but I want program and guarantees for the untouchable that they will be treated equally. And therefore he asked for several measures. I am not going into that again. The only point that I am making is that he fought for the independence in his own way. And so somebody says, Shiroi, worshipping the false god, in that book, Shiroi has mentioned this. Those are very inferior scholarships. But this is what the real story about Dr. Ambedkar's position on independence is. The second point is the constitution making. National issue. Now, contribution of Dr. Ambedkar in constitution making is right from 1920 to 1949. Now, as I share with you that British government will come after every year to India, will send a commission, seek the opinion of the people to change the British government of British Indian Act, under which we were controlled. Dr. Babasaheb entry came in 1990, and he asked for certain right for Dalit. Then in 1930, then in Roundtable Conference, then in Constitution. I don't have time to go into this, but I'll make only one point, that how Ambedkar contributed, Dr. Ambedkar contributed in constitution making. And while through his memorandum and participation in Roundtable Conference, I'm not talking of Indian constitution making, I'm talking of the constitution making before the independence. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar asked for the reservation and other policies for the depressed classes at that time. He also made suggestion as to how the British Constitution should be. And that contribution is for the constitution building at that point of time. Of course, his role in Indian Constitution is a different story. But there also he contributed. What are his contributions? Say from 1990 to say 1935 Act. And 35 Act was then taken later on when we framed the Indian Constitution. Now, Dr. Ambedkar's demand were twofold. One, that untouchables are a minority. You have given the European Christians, Muslim reservation, political reservation. Untouchables are a minority and very oppressed minority. They also need a reservation, political reservation, reservation in job, reservation in education institution, and a law against discrimination and equal rights. I'm not again going into that. That's another story. But he asked specifically in his first memorandum the demand for the scheduled caste. But when he asked for a political representation for the scheduled caste through separate electorate, like the Muslim, at that time, there were no voting rights for ordinary people. Voting rights were confined to rich people, high caste Brahmin and others. So the large majority of the people did not have voting rights. And nomination in the assembly and central assembly was through, representation to the assembly was through nomination by the British. Dr. Ambedkar asked two things. He asked right to vote for everybody, irrespective of economic standing and caste. With whosoever is 20-year-old, he should have a right. Secondly, the representation of the minorities and depressed classes in the assembly and in the central legislature in Delhi should be through election and not through nomination. So these are two important demands that he make. Right to vote for everybody, and election representation in the assembly through election and not nomination. And there are several other suggestions that he made. These were the suggestions for constitution making. No other parties, Congress, imitating Dr. Ambedkar, asked for the right to vote for everybody. But it was Dr. Ambedkar for the first time that right to vote should be for everybody. And that representation in the state assembly and central assembly should be through election. Now, when he went to Roundtable Conference in 1930, then he was a member of the Fundamental Right Committee, he was a member of the Federal Committee, he was a member of the Minority Committee. And beside the demand of the scheduled caste and depressed classes, he contributed immensely in the preparation of 1935 Act or 1935 British Constitution, one of the bulkiest constitution, and people watch him. Dr. Ambedkar attended all the three conferences, roundtable conferences, first, second, and only very few were invited in the third roundtable conference. It was only Dr. Ambedkar to prepare some portion of the roundtable British Constitution at that point of time. So Dr. Ambedkar, other than the reservation and policies for these depressed classes, whole lot of contribution come by Dr. Ambedkar on the general issue. His PhD thesis was on provincial finance. What are the taxation and expenditure rights of the provinces and the center? So he was made a member of the Federal Committee. He contributed there. He contributed in fundamental rights. Now these were national issues. These were not issues of Dalit. These were issues which were close to the nation building. And 35 Act, he worked so hard. Gandhiji watched him. It's not just like that Ambedkar was made a chairman of the drafting committee. All stalwart watch his role in 35 Act. Even the Prime Minister, in the British praised him. His knowledge in jurisprudence, his knowledge in law, his writing skill. Therefore, despite the fact that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and Gandhiji had immense fighting with each other, they had respect also. It is Gandhiji and others suggested the name of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar to be the member of the drafting committee and also eventually the chairman of the drafting committee. My point is, remember well, I am not going into this. The only point is Dr. Ambedkar contributed in a general issues related to the Constitution in 1935 and even before that. And so much so that when the Constitutional Assembly was constituted in 1947 and it will prepare the Constitution, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was against it. He said, why do you need a Constitutional Assembly? You have a 1935 Constitution, one of the biggest constitution, British Constitution, take out the British part of it, add something, and you have a Constitution. That is the size of that Constitution, 1935, and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's role. But eventually we had a Constitutional Assembly, Babasaheb was there. So Constitution, role in Constitution making what? Role in Constitution means it laid down rules and principles which govern the state. How the state should work, what principles should become the foundation for governance of the state. Today we have in preamble secularism, socialism, and democracy. Those are the principles. republic and sovereign also, 5 principles, which are the governing principles which are used in running of the state. Now, so constitution means the rules and regulation, the principle that laid down for the governance of the country. That was a national issue, in which Ambedkar played so much of an important role. And there are unique contribution of Babasaheb Ambedkar. I don't have time to go into this, but only mention one point is that his role is that he was aware about the disintegrated nature of the Indian state. 50 princely states, 3 presidencies pulling towards each other. Some of the state princes refused to be a part of India, state of Hyderabad and Goa and other. So Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar knew this tendency of division, and therefore he made the state little more stronger and brought the unity. But there are many people who did not know how to bring the unity. When we bring the 50 princely state and 3 presidencies together, it was Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. In fact, it was asked, a specific question was asked to him that how will he have a judiciary in this country? He said judiciary will be independent, right from bottom to top. There will be only one bureaucracy. There will be only equal citizenship right. There will be only one military. There will be only one CRP. These are all India. There will be only All India service. These all will bind together. Also, common civil code. Even for the Muslim, he was in favor of the common civil code. That you have your religion, Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists, another, but there should be a common civil code which will bind the country together. Now, these are his contributions. With respect to the constitution, very small I mentioned. Just to mention a point, that other than the depressed classes, he contributed in the making of the constitution and thereby the nation. Second point, that when the British decided that India get independence, as soon as the British make this point, the state of Hyderabad, Goa and one more state, I don't remember, they say we don't want to be a part of India. We will be a separate country. Now, what was the response of the Congress? What was the response of Dr. Ambedkar? This was a national issue and very dangerous situation. Dr. Ambedkar wrote in volume 12, those who are interested, there is a whole 11-page note by Dr. Ambedkar legally criticizing Britishers that if you say that everything will be now decided by the new constitution, Constitutional Assembly, how can you exclude this point? That the princely state will have a choice to join or not to join? It is the constitution which will decide whether the princely state should be a part of India or not. He gave a legal argument and sort of criticized British and gave that copy to Patel, who was a home minister, that look, you have to be careful about this. Therefore, Patel is given a credit to uniting all the princely state together. Rightly so. But the ideological and legal advice come from Dr. Ambedkar. Dr. Ambedkar did not stop there, but Dr. Ambedkar was so keen about this that he wrote an article in Times of India. I don't know the date will be in that. He wrote an article and justified that the princely state do not have a right to ask for a separate state. They will have to be a part of this. Constitution will decide. So these are the national issues. And look at a person. He writes 10, 15 notes. Write a letter also. Writing a letter in the newspaper means you are so intense about it. And not only that, he brought out a pamphlet on behalf of the Scheduled Caste Federation, his political party, against the Nizam of Hyderabad, for Nizam demanding for a different province. Now you know that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has a very nice relation with Nizam of Hyderabad. They give 140 acres of land in Aurangabad for Million College and other thing. They give loan. Now there is a recent document when I went to Telangana, they showed me a letter that Hyderabad had given, I think, 150 rupees per month or something for education. And when the auditorium of Million College was foundation stone one laid down, the Prime Minister of Hyderabad came. You must have seen that photograph, So much good relation, and yet Dr. Ambedkar brought out a pamphlet on behalf of Scheduled Caste Federation opposing the demand of Hyderabad to be an independent nation. And you know what were the consequences? That when Dr. Ambedkar went in Marathwada region to deliver a lecture in a village which fall in the jurisdiction of Hyderabad, not in the Bombay Presidency. There is a river in Marathwada which divide Bombay Presidency in those days, Bombay Presidency and Nizam of Hyderabad. So Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was not allowed to enter into that village. So our people, Dalit people, then organized this Sabha exactly in a village which was just across the river, but opposite to that village. They took out a procession in about 50-60 Belgadis. Now the incident is celebrated every year in Marathwada region. Now so much of commitment for the nation, for unity of the nation. Then the minority issue came in 1947. Pakistan wanted a separate country. Jinnah wanted a separate country. And eventually they got it. But the issue was so violent. So much of violence in Bengal and everywhere. It was a minority issue, religious minority issue. It was not an issue of scheduled caste or depressed class. What did Babasaheb do? I am told Babasaheb took a 3-4 month leave and sat in the fort in Ahmedabad. It's not very quite clear, but somebody told me, and wrote that book, Thoughts on Pakistan. In that, he wrote how nations are formed. Is there a case for Pakistan to be an independent nation? Scholarly book. That book became so famous that within 6 months his first edition was out. So Dr. Ambedkar was asked by Thakur, his publisher in Mumbai, to bring out the second edition. So Babasaheb brought out a second edition, but that he changed the title, Pakistan and Partition of India. And that became a very famous book. And the people say that this was the philosophy for creation of Pakistan was given by Babasaheb Ambedkar. But in second edition, Babasaheb says that minority can stay together, majority and minority, under certain condition. Important point is, I am not going into the content. Religious minority issue was not an issue of depressed classes, it was a national issue. Massive violence, nobody knew what are the way out. Here is Ambedkar, take out his time, write a book, bring out a second edition. Not only that, he also suggested the way out as to how to deal with the problem of religious minority, Muslim, Christians, and even social minority like scheduled caste. And on behalf of the Scheduled Caste Federation, he brought out a memorandum called Communal Deadlock and Way to Solve It. And gave a suggestion in that if minority has to be safe, in a country where there is a majority, then this thing should be done. I am not going into detail, that will require a lot of time. But what is important you have to understand is that he not only wrote books, but also memorandums submitted to the government, Congress government at that point of time, even Constitutional Assembly, that what are the ways and means you can follow, change the political democracy in a manner such that minorities are safe. And in fact, then what happened is that he took out that portion and included in state and minorities. State and minority is the constitution of Dr. Ambedkar. And that constitution of state of minority was not fully accepted, finally, some aspect of it. But that is his constitution, in which he brought out his suggestion to provide a safeguard to the minorities. You know, the unfortunate story of Dalit is this, let me tell you. Don't feel bad and don't feel that the most important books of Babasaheb Ambedkar, Communal Deadlock and Way to Solve is State and Minority, where there is a remedies for upliftment of the scheduled caste. Lifetime wisdom of Babasaheb Ambedkar in 1947. Have you ever seen that there is a discussion on state and minority and communal deadlock in Bombay or Pune or Aurangabad? No. Discussion is on annihilation of caste, but not on the book like State and Minority, where he has given the program and remedies for upliftment of the scheduled caste. But the limited point that you have to understand here, that he wrote, he was not in power, but he wrote to deal the problem of religious minority. And what he predicted at that time is happening today. I don't want to say anything, it's a government function. Next issue was, after we got independence, was to reorganization of the state. All the princely states were brought into India. All of them say yes. But Hyderabad and Goa, we had to go for a foolish action. Again, look at Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's contribution. When Patel realized that Hyderabad is not agreeing, Goa is not agreeing, he argued for a military action. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar sent a note through his OSD to Patel, that OSD has written in his biography, that asked Patel to call it a Polish action, not a military action. Because if it is a military action, then Hyderabad will think that it is India which is having an aggression against the state of Hyderabad, nation of Hyderabad, and they might go to United Nations. Call it a Polish action. Polish action will be our internal affair. Look at the love and concern of a man for the united India. But anyway, when all princely states were brought together, 3 presidencies came together. We had a union of state. But then how to form the state? Commission was set up in 1951, and the state recommended 1 language, 1 state. Dr. Ambedkar immediately wrote a rejoinder and brought out a book, Thoughts on Linguistic State. Criticized the entire recommendation of that and suggested the alternative scheme of reorganization of the state. What was that scheme? He said they had recommended 1 language, 1 state. Marathi speaking, 1 state. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar said language should be the base of the state formation. But why do you need one state for 1 language? Why not more state of same language? Because if there is a 1 language, there is a regionalism comes in. You can see Karnataka and Maharashtra. So he said there should be more state of the same language, so you break the regionalism. And second criteria was small states are better than the bigger state. We had a UP, a huge state, and it is UP who decided who will be the Prime Minister. It continued to decide even today. Therefore, Babasaheb Ambedkar was saying that have a small state, let the language be a base of the state, but have a small state. And then third criteria he has given, financially it should be viable. And fourth criteria he has given, that when you chalk out the state, see to it that one particular community doesn't become minority. These 4 criteria he has given, and then what he did, he didn't stop there. He gave the map and actually given the state in Thoughts on Linguistic State. So Maharashtra 3 states, Andhra Pradesh 2 states, Telangana was formed on the recommendation of Babasaheb Ambedkar, UP 4 states, Bihar 3 states, Madhya Pradesh 3 states. So he gave his scheme. This was a national issue, this was not a Dalit issue. It is Dr. Ambedkar who did this. Look at the patriotic feeling of a person. And so all the states which are now being formed are from that book, from that map. Mayavati, Uttarakhand, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Telangana. We from Nagpur asking for a separate Vidarbha because Ambedkar gave it. Now the reorganization of the state is a national issue. It's not an issue of different classes, remotely, little bit. But it is a person who is motivated by the national concern and love who can write this. Then come Maharashtra. Maharashtra, based on Marathi language, Ambedkar suggested 3 states, but where should the Mumbai go? And Morarji Desai was the Prime Minister. At that time, it used to call Prime Minister or Chief Minister. And their intention was to give the Mumbai to Gujarat. But there was a complete revolt against it. I think 105 people died. And then Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar again came forward. Acharya Atre and a couple of people went to Babasaheb. It is you who can do it. And then Babasaheb wrote that long memorandum here. He justified as to why Bombay should be given, Mumbai should be given, included in Maharashtra. It was not an issue of depressed classes, it was an issue of Maharashtra and nation. But he wrote that. In volume 1, it is all given. Then there are other issues of national importance in which Dr. Ambedkar contributed. In 1942 and 46, Dr. Ambedkar was a labor minister, all of you know. And it's a very unique period when there were only 8 ministers. And Babasaheb Ambedkar had 8 portfolio with him. It was called labor member, but labor, irrigation, water, power, aviation, Air India was with him. Then DOPT, the renovation of Taj Mahal and other which he had done, 8 department he had. And minerals. And it so happened that it was 42, 46, Second World War came to an end. Indian soldiers who were supporting British against the Hitler would come back. And they have to be rehabilitated. They have to be given job. Then there were hundreds of industries in India which were manufacturing defense goods for the war. So those industries will have to now produce other goods. So there was a plan made by the British government called rehabilitation plan. Marshall Plan for Europe, rehabilitation plan for India. When the committee was constituted, there were all the 8 ministers, Babasaheb was one of the members, and a very eminent economist. What they did was they changed the title of the plan. They called Rehabilitation and Reconstruction, Economic Reconstruction Plan. Imagine the shrewdness of the Indian. And they got the money from the British that this is a reconstruction plan. Also rehabilitation, but it will require economic development. The industry will have to be converted. You know, I go to Bangalore because I am chairman of one of the organization, and there is a factory which produced the sandal soap. It's still there, I think. The sandal soap was a very rough soap which was manufactured to wash the military cloth.